It works! 2022 Peacemaker. This is some of the best television that I have seen in a long time. Okay, for those that don't know, Peacemaker just finished the 8th episode a couple weeks ago. I'm late to this review. But Peacemaker is one of the main characters in 2021's The Suicide Squad, James Gunn. Phenomenal adaptation. A lot better than the one that happened a few years ago. I love the Suicide Squad so much that I actually watched it like 6 times in theaters. It was phenomenal. So when I heard that there was gonna be a show based on one of the main characters, I was like super stoked. And then I watched the trailers. I wasn't like super sold on the trailers because it looked kind of low budget, and it's like, oh well, they're just making a show out of a movie that has some popular characters, and you know, they're just gonna make a show and cash in on it. I was so freaking wrong. First of all, Peacemaker is played by John Cena, and he's an interesting character on the Suicide Squad. He's great, but he has an interesting way to do things. He is violent, and he will do anything for peace. He will kill men, women, and children, and as he says in the movie, like, I would eat this beach full of dicks for peace. And he's an interesting character, to say the least. But when you watch this show, suddenly you start to understand why he is who he is, why he's conflicted, why he does some of his questionable decisions, and he says some of the things he says. He has an incredibly messed up childhood. His father is freaking psycho. Something terrible happens to his brother. And this show dives deep into his upbringing, and surrounded by some other lesser known characters from the movie and some other characters you pick up along the way. James Gunn has a masterful way of writing background story, story arcs, things that happen, plot twist. He did a fantastic job. There's things that happen throughout this show that just like blew my mind, made me feel so much empathy for the character of Peacemaker. Actually, I felt a little sad. Like, dude, your childhood was so messed up. Nobody deserves to have something like that. And John Cena actually did a very good job portraying this. And previously, John Cena was known kind of a little iffy. His acting roles weren't the best, but as time has gone on, he has actually done a really good job, and Peacemaker shows that I believe he is now ready to be a leading role man. Previously, not so much, but with what we saw in the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, I think he's ready to take some of those big roles, and I really enjoyed how he portrayed this character of Peacemaker. As far as the characters, some of them I don't like as much as others. One of those is Amanda Waller, but she's a crazy psycho that does some very questionable ethical and moral decisions, but of course that's how that character is written, and you don't see much of her, but you do hear of her. I didn't like her daughter at first, but I think she had a beautiful arc towards the middle and end of the show. And you start to see humanity seep into these characters, that all of these are trained killers, people that have had terrible childhoods, people that nobody wants to be friends with, people that nobody really likes them. And you start to connect with them, you start to see that they are humans. And that is so important when you're writing a TV show or a movie or anything like that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There is an incredibly unexpected surprise in the last episode. I will not spoil it for you, but if you like comic books, especially the DCU type of stuff, I think you're really gonna like that surprise. But there you got it, folks. Go check it out, and remember, you owe it to yourself to watch great cinema.